If you are wanting to lose weight or improve any aspect of your physical body, then you may not realize that what you are doing is absolutely setting you up for defeat. So, today we are going to discover exactly what is necessary so you can win. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Marcia Martin, the heart healer, and I'm so delighted that you're here with me today because it is time for you to win, to meet your fitness goals, to feel better in your physical body and good about all of you. So, today we're going to take a look at why resolutions don't work and won't work. Why affirmations may not be enough, and what you can do so that you are on the path to winning, and as always, what angelic beings are going to be able to help you. We've got to remember that, yes, we can do it solo. We can try to live our lives just within this physical container and experience challenges and do the best we can with those challenges. Or we can remember that we are spiritual beings within this physical body and call on the angelic, energetic realm to help us get the guidance and the clarity and the motivation that we need in order to really make a difference in our lives. So let's take a look first at why resolutions are not going to work. It is so popular that every year at this time, we flip that calendar over and decide, okay, now I'm going to do something for myself that's positive. But resolutions are rigid, and that means they are brittle, and brittle things break. Think about ice, peanut brittle, different things that are just look like glass, but don't have any wiggle room to them. They just break. A resolution where you are making a firm declaration is rigid. And resolution comes from the place of you're bad. It doesn't say, well, I'm excited to make a positive change. It says, you're bad, and I can't accept you as you are. So that's like starting the race 50 miles behind everyone else. You at least need to be able to start where everyone else is starting the race if you are going to be in the race to win. If you're just in the race because you feel like racing and you enjoy always looking ahead and seeing how much further it is, then continue using resolutions. But if you are in the race because you want something positive to happen in your life and you want to look ahead and see how much closer the goal has come because of all of the proactive strategies that you're adopting, then you want to stay with me and really understand all of the tools that you have here at your disposal. Remember, a resolution implies that that means you, the person, is unacceptable. Resolutions don't allow yourself to really get hold of who you are. They tend to make you focus on all of you that is wrong. And when we are coming from that you're bad place, it is really difficult to separate yourself from the habit. So if you make a mistake while you're on your journey toward wellness, and it doesn't matter whether it's weight loss or anywhere along the physical well being spectrum that you're falling, if you make a mistake during that time, you may look at yourself and say things like, well, now I'm worthless. I knew I wasn't going to be capable or able to do this. And from that place of worthless, you have made it that much more difficult to achieve any kind of goal other than failure. And failure isn't really a goal. So you got to separate you from this habit, and a habit is just repeat behavior. So you have to separate you, the beautiful being, from this habit, which may not be very loving, very kind, very complimentary. Whatever it's not doing is fine. You are still perfect as you are, no matter what size you are, no matter what physical health you may be in. You are still perfect. It's the habit that you want to change. And a resolution says, well, I don't really like myself. So I'm going to base my resolution on everything I hate and tell myself I'll be better when I change. Resolutions try to shame you into better behavior. And shame, as you have heard me mention so often, never leads us toward a positive outcome. So we've got to make sure that we're really pulling back from any behavior or self talk or any way of being that makes us feel shameful. Now, since we are looking at the idea of diet, because that seems to be such a popular topic right at this time, or getting into shape, the one thing that you never want to say to yourself is, oh, you are such a fat slob, or you are so out of shape. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Any of those ways of looking at yourself just are screaming self hatred and shame. It doesn't matter what the outside looks like. It matters how you feel on the inside. When you feel good inside, you will automatically make healthy choices. When you are behaving in a way that is self loving, you reflect that love in everything you do, say, and think. So don't worry about the outside, whether you need to get into better shape, whether you want to lose some weight, or whether you really are wanting to overcome a health challenge. Begin on the inside and let go of shame. So now let's look at why affirmations are not enough in themselves to help you be successful. An affirmation is a wonderful thing to do. It is wonderful to reinforce what you do want and take your focus away from what you don't want. So, affirmations by themselves are great, but by themselves, they're not enough, because affirmations are like asking yourself to climb a mountain when you are not in good physical shape, you don't have any climbing gear, and you have no idea what's entailed in the climb. The affirmation is sort of pasting a happy face on what may be a very sad circumstance for you. So, again, you got to get in there, do the inner work. For me, I think heart healing is the most effective way to really understand what is going on in the inside and then being able to release it so that you can use an affirmation successfully. So, yes, the affirmation needs to be positive, but it can't be positive and untruthful, because then you're setting up this lying scenario to yourself. And because most of you are empathic, you understand how painful it is to be lied to, since that, as an untrained empath, is the kind of energy that you're going to be attracting. So you feel everything and you want to fix everything, and you are not feeling good about you. So instead of going within, as a trained empath would know to do, you might be going outward and saying, oh, if I just fix enough people, then I'll feel good about me and my life will start really becoming what I want it to be. But when you do that and you've got a lot of turmoil in you, the energetic turmoil that you're holding, whether it's trauma, abuse, just living in a negative mindset, that is going to be speaking volumes out into the universe, even while you think you're on your little helpful hunts for people to support. Your energetic resonance is going to be shouting, I don't love myself. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. And then you will start attracting to you people that will want to take advantage of your poor self image, your lack of self empowerment, and your ability to love yourself. And those people typically lie, cheat, and scam as their way of getting ahead. So you cannot lie to yourself, because that will send you off into the crazy land of being triggered by all of these things that happened in the past. So you want to let go of anything that you may believe is an ideal affirmation if it can't support a truth. So you don't skip the acknowledge step. If you are not allowing yourself to acknowledge that there's a problem, if you're just trying to paste a happy face onto everything, you are really doing yourself a great disservice, and you are still going to be projecting out into the universe, I don't like me, I don't feel good about me, I don't deserve anything of value, and that's what you're going to attract in return. So you got to acknowledge where you are. And you can do that with statements like, even though I'm 20 pounds heavier than I want to be. And then now you can put in the I love and accept myself part and go on to create an affirmation that will support what you want. Now, I would not harp on the, even though I'm 20 pounds overweight, just acknowledge it. Let it be something that you have acknowledged and feel how that feels. Once you've acknowledged it, then you need to accept yourself as you are. Even though I'm 20 pounds overweight, I'm still going to love and accept myself. And then add your affirmation. And now I'm ready to feel good about my weight loss journey or anything that is going to support you. I'm ready to begin exercising. I'm excited about my exercise program. I'm excited about healthy eating. I'm so proud of my food choices. You've got to know what's going on. Say it, accept you, and then determine what it is you're going to do in order to make it better. And remember, as an empathic being, you may have also grown up in a traumatic or abusive situation. And that means you will have been experiencing throughout your lifetime broken promises in addition to the lies, and you might even have a disregard for reality. If your abuser was narcissistic, reality doesn't come into the picture very often. And you may have created all sorts of scenarios in your mind that were coping strategies that you're using in order to get by. So you've got to acknowledge where you are truthfully instead of pretending it doesn't exist so that you can create an affirmation that's just a happy face that you've stuck onto something. I never want you to get stuck in the negative, but I also never want you to lie to yourself because it's all going to cause more inner turmoil and prevent you from getting ahead. So stop trying to lie your way to the truth. And that's what affirmations can sometimes feel like. If you are just pretending that everything is okay when it's not. And remember, too, you are a deeply sensitive being. So that means you may reject the good if it is triggering the bad to such a degree that you can't even be present with the good. That would be a trauma response that would be perfectly normal if you are just trying to disregard everything and pretend it's okay. You also may be rejecting or stubborn out of principle because of the atmosphere that you might have grown up in. You're an adult now, you feel you can make your own decisions. And if you had someone who was authoritarian and a heavy disciplinarian and unkind, forcing you to do things, and you're now an adult, if you feel forced to do something again, you might just not want to do it because now you can. So it's a process of honoring yourself instead of forcing yourself. Another thing that you may find yourself saying is, I'm never going to, and then dot, dot, dot. If you find that you are repeating some childhood patterns, it is not because you are stupid. It is not because you have no value. It is never because you are unworthy. It is because you have seen this pattern repeat and repeat and repeat, and it may have become a habit. You may be telling yourself things like, I'm never going to lie or break my promises, etc., 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 like they did. And then you find that you can't keep your word or something along those lines. It's okay. Give yourself the opportunity to acknowledge and begin again. If you break a promise, if you lie out of habit rather than out of choice, catch yourself as quickly as you can and begin again. I see that I've lied. Oh, wow, that really makes me feel bad. You're acknowledging where you are. Okay, I'm ready to let it go. I love and accept myself where I am, and I am committed to moving forward in a better way. Support yourself. Don't punch yourself. Affirmations without acknowledgement is what you have experienced. If you were living in an abusive home where promise after promise was made and promise after promise was broken, you are used to, it's going to get better and we're great things are coming and you're going to be so excited about all of the wonderful things that I buy you or whatever they're telling you. And then when nothing happens out of that big statement, you are feeling that great letdown, and that can lead to some unhealthy habits. So you don't want to imitate the part they didn't get right. Imitate the part or initiate the part that feels Good. And that means that you're going to have to acknowledge where you are. So affirm what is desired. We always want to make sure we know where we're going. If we have no direction, we'll get lost. We'll turn around in different circles and it will get confusing and crazy. So, affirm affirm what's desired. Set that goal. But be aware of where you are. Set a healthy starting point. Create a realistic goal because you know where you are. If you are in a wheelchair and you have the goal of running a marathon, it is unrealistic for you to say, I will be running a marathon with other healthy people by the end of the year. You have a longer time that you need to support yourself getting toward that goal. So you could say, I'm going to try to strengthen my legs, if that is even possible, to strengthen my legs to the point where I am able to walk. Next, I'm going to strengthen my legs so that I can walk further. And then keep extending out until perhaps you are able to run. But please be realistic and kind to yourself. So now let's look at everything that you're going to do, all of the ways you can put this together and achieve success. The first thing is to really ask yourself some questions. Don't dive into something and decide that that's going to be your new way of doing because somebody else did it. It's a trend, or you just think that it's the only answer. If you hop into things and you are not prepared, again, you have a greater likelihood of failing. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. Do I want this? Maybe you're happy, 20 pounds overweight, and you have no health issues, no physical limitations with that weight, and you just feel comfortable. You may not be able to be motivated enough to want it. And so you can set other goals rather than weight loss. Perhaps a better goal for you would be to get into better physical shape. And then you need to ask yourself, who am I doing this for? Thank you, Pastel Wave. She's loving this. Who am I doing this for? If you are wanting to lose weight for your significant other, stop right there. They may appreciate the fact that you have lost weight. Perhaps they don't care. If you don't want to lose the weight, that's the one that's important. Now, if extreme weight is causing you health problems, then I would encourage you, yes, to absolutely dive deep into your weight loss journey and to make it a wonderful adventure. But you don't always have to be the same size as the model that you see in the magazine. I want to share a story with you. I live in Los Angeles, and of course, we have models and actors all over the place. And there happened to be one woman who caught my eye in the grocery store. This was a grocery store that the whole neighborhood could walk to, and we would often walk because it didn't have a whole lot of parking, and it was just really easier to walk if you only had a few things that you needed to pick up. So I would see her frequently in the grocery store, and I would say to myself, she is just 1 second away from a heart attack because she is so thin. And I would look in her basket. I know I shouldn't be that nosy, but I was. Look at her basket. I would see just hardly any food that would really nourish her. And so I used to wrap her in big pink and gold blankets of light and just try to think of ways that I could be energetically supportive of her because she, to me, looked very unhappy and grossly underweight. And then I happened to see her while I was with a girlfriend who is a doctor. I said, "Gosh, just look at that woman. Don't you wish there was something that we could do in order to support her to get enough weight on her body so that she wouldn't be endangering her physical health?" And this woman looked at me and she said, she's probably a model. There's nothing you can do. If you believe that you need to be skin and bones in order to model, and you believe that's the only way that you're going to be successful, please think again. Take a moment to take a breath and reflect on whether it's worth it. If you are too thin, you put yourself at risk of heart failure. If you are too heavy, it's the same thing. Please find a weight that feels good to you and represents what feels good to your inner being. If you feel good, your body is going to be able to support you more easily. So there's no reason to go to one extreme or the other. Just find the place where you feel good. So, do I want this? Who am I doing this for? Do I want to lose weight? Or am I afraid to be seen? Am I using the weight as a cover? Am I trying to hide something? Have I been treated badly in the past or had inappropriate attention paid to me because of my looks? Do I then want to mask it with heaviness or go the other direction and a skeletal frame? If that's the reason, if you are really feeling strong dislike for your physical appearance, please get help and call on your angelic support. The next thing I want you to determine is, what is your motivation? What do you gain or benefit by accomplishing your goal? If there's no benefit to you, I don't see how you're going to stick to your path. Or, how will I prosper? Is it going to bring you a better quality of life? Finally, what am I hoping to receive? If you are telling yourself, okay, if I lose these 20 pounds, I'm going to look so fabulous. I will have everyone falling at my feet and I'll get all the attention that I could possibly want. You are still looking outside of yourself. Even if that were to happen and you had people falling all over themselves to be with you, you still wouldn't feel good. Do the inner work. The inner work, feeling good about you first, is going to make sure that the outside of you is absolutely luminous and lovely, really, no matter what size you are. Now you need to know how you are going to keep going. So make sure your goal is realistic, because if you say, oh, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in a month, you have like a zero chance, probably a negative zero chance of achieving that goal. So, of course, when the month goes by and you see maybe you've lost 10 pounds, you're going to feel horribly discouraged. And even 10 pounds in a month can be too much too fast, because if it comes off too fast, you won't be able to take it off. So I'm sorry it has to be slow, but that's the only way you're ever going to make lasting progress. So set a realistic goal. And if you need to see your doctor first because you have health concerns, don't put that off. Set a realistic goal and then determine how you're going to keep yourself going. Reward every moment of progress, Every time that you do something that affirms where you want to go as opposed to where you were, I want you to reward yourself. Rewards do not have to be food related. They do not have to be shopping related. They do not have to hurt you in any way. You can reward yourself with a bubble bath, with a walk, with spending time with your pet, going out with your friends just for a walk instead of to a coffee shop where you feel like you might be tempted by a pastry or something like that. Don't blow your budget unless your budget is extensive. If it is, great. Treat yourself that way. Most of us don't have limitless budgets, so you've got to have some things that you like to do that don't cost anything, or you're going to feel really defeated because now your bank account is depleted and you might not have reached your goal. So make sure you have things that you can do. If you like crafts or art or reading, there are so many things that you can do that will cost you nothing and will still feel like a reward. So you got to be rewarding. You also have to be supportive to yourself with good, healthy self talk. Celebrate every win. Now, self talk that is healthy does not look in the mirror and say, oh, well, it's great you got 10 pounds off, but this final 10 really have to go. Instead of that kind of backward compliment, I want you to look in the mirror if you've got half a pound off and say, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. You're so worth it. And I am delighted to keep honoring you by healthy eating and exercise and different ways that I can support you. It's you talking to you in a way that feels good. Be committed to the long term. This is something that none of us living in this instantaneous society want to hear. However, if you are going to see significant success in any area of your life, you are going to have to commit to the long term. You got the habit because without even really paying attention to it, you absorbed over a long period of time how to do something the wrong way, and then you kept doing it. If you want to win, you're going to have to commit to yourself to continuously reminding yourself about what you do want, congratulating yourself when you do it, forgiving yourself when you make a mistake, and starting over again and again and again if you fall down, if you are going to be successful in developing healthy habits that will support you for the rest of your life. Don't make it so big. This is the size of the goal that I want you to set. One little tiny goal. I'm going to eat healthy foods for the next hour. Once you're through that hour, celebrate. Wow, look at us. I'm so proud of me. I knew I could do it. Let's try another hour. What's going to happen is you're going to forget all about the fact that you're eating healthy, and you're just going to automatically start going in the direction that is for your highest good. As long as you don't make it painful, it will be easier to do. So remember, results are cumulative and overnight is false. Crash diets fail, fad diets fail. The thing that works is creating a healthy lifestyle and allowing yourself to live in that place. We live in a miracle, which is our physical body. And when we honor that physical body, we feel good. We have more energy. We have better quality of sleep. We're able to think more clearly. And everything becomes more exciting. But nothing is going to be corrected quickly. So, what else can you do? Well, you got to find outside support. I know it's an inside game, but outside support can support your inside game. So, I've put a link in the comments here where you can sign up for my to be on my email list, and you will receive inspiration throughout the week in addition to an ebook. And that's going to help you. You're going to begin looking at life in a different direction because someone who is already able to motivate and inspire you is helping you get there. There are plenty of inspirational and motivational videos on YouTube and all of the other social media platforms. There are books that are uplifting and motivational and inspiring. Surround yourself with people who do that for you as well. Just honor yourself by finding the things that you need to get that support and then engaging with it. Now, the last thing that I want you to do, and for me, this is the most important, call on your angels for support. As I said before, sure, you can go solo and experience all the challenges without the tools, but you can also do it the easy way. Let's get excited about ease. You've been doing it the hard way for so long. The angels will help you make better choices. They will help you stay motivated and they will help you get back on track. And they're going to do all of it without shame, without blame, without guilt, without fear, and without manipulation. So if you want support and you want to feel good, call on the angels. I'm going to share with you something that they did for me. They are constantly helping me, but they help me down to the littlest detail of my life so that I can put my time, energy, and effort in the things that really matter to me. So at Christmas, I decided to treat myself to a new wallet because mine was starting to get worn out. And it had been weeks. Christmas has been over for a while, and I still hadn't changed that wallet. And I just got a bee in my bonnet. I'm going to do that right now. And it was late at night, but I thought I was being extremely careful to check behind all the little pockets. That's one of the things that I loved about that wallet is it had so many hidden compartments so that there was always a way to hide those bank cards and other cards that credit cards that you don't want people to have easy access to. So I cleaned out my wallet, transferred everything over, checked it really thoroughly to make sure that I hadn't forgotten a thing, and then put it out in a pile that I have that needs to go to donation. I woke up the next morning and the angels were saying to me, "You didn't move any of your bank cards. All of your bank cards are still in the other wallet." I jumped out of bed, ran to that box that's for donations, grabbed the old wallet, and sure enough, in one of those hidden compartments were all of the bank cards that I was certain I had already transferred over. This is the difference between having to go back. Let's say I went to the donation center, dropped my wallet off, came back, or went to the store and recognized, oh, hey, I don't have any cards here. And I might have $20 in my wallet. Oh my gosh. Then driving to the donation center, pleading with them to look through the piles or to look out on the floor, wherever that wallet may be, spending hours of discomfort, because probably I would not find it. And then I would have to go through the whole thing about calling all of the card holders and canceling those cards and starting over. The angels made it simple. They simply reminded me that I was tired when I was doing this and had forgotten. And that's what I want you to have. We're talking about weight loss, we're talking about getting in shape, we're talking about feeling better physically, but that's not their only area of expertise. So, who are the two angels that can help you on your weight loss or physical fitness or physical improvement journey, just wellness journey? Two of them, Archangel Raphael and Archangel Shamuel. Archangel Raphael, because his name means God heals. Archangel Raphael is on the green ray. And I just love the fact that green is the color of the heart chakra, and health is something that the divine sees as so important that they attribute it with love. So if you are feeling unhealthy for any reason, know that the divine desire your well-being. It may be that you have contracted with an illness or something in this life, and for the purpose of the challenge and what you can learn, but you can undo all of those contracts. We're not going to talk about that today, but we'll get to that at some point in the future. So, Archangel Raphael, he brings the energy that will help you overcome any challenge, and he can help you healing, any aspect of healing, and your animals as well. The other one, Archangel Shemuel, he who seeks God, has been described as pure love in a winged form. Archangel Shamuel is going to help you in probably one of the most substantial ways possible, because he's going to help you release judgment. Now, if you have ever been overweight, and there was a time when I had extra weight, so I understand what it's like to get into that judgment, he'll help you release judgment. And that is one of the most important things for weight loss, is to step out of the place of I'm ugly, unworthy, not good enough, whatever, if I have extra weight, and just into the place where you can love you, no matter how you look on the outside. He is also going to help you love yourself first and foremost. If you don't love yourself, if you are hating everything about yourself and you are actively self-sabotaging, it's almost impossible for you to reach your goal. You may be well on the way toward it, and then something will come and trigger you. And if you're feeling very sabotagey, you can undo weeks and weeks of progress. This is why you need to go within and clear away the residue of abuse and trauma that may want to react to whatever trigger that you're running into. What happens with heart healing is you're still going to run into the triggers. You still live in the world. So you're still going to be involved with triggers and challenges and drama and all sorts of things. But if you don't have this heavy, hard, angry part of you that wants to react to that, you will be able to stay in your center, to call on your divine support, and continue to make progress. Hello, Evan. You didn't miss us. We are here. So, any other questions or concerns about weight loss? I think it is so important to know, just in general, that If you set the goal, I want to be healthy, your body is going to find the weight that it can operate at for its optimal function. So take your number, take your mind off the numbers of the scale. It's really has little value. Remember the woman that I told you about in the grocery store who was stick thin. And there we, same friend and I used to go for coffee at a uh, bakery, and there was another woman who, same stick thin, working there, and I was just in shock about how their bodies could keep going with that small amount of weight. Lovely that I got to speak with the person who ran the bakery. Kind of interesting because they had a bakery on one side and salads and sandwiches and lovely drinks on the other side. So kind of a weird juxtaposition. But um, I got to know her because she would often bring me my drink, and I guess she would make it for me too. They had this great lemonade. They're no longer in business, but they had this great lemonade that I loved. And it was great on hot days. But I remember just thinking, I want to hug you. I want to do something for you to make you feel good about you. Because if you continue the way that you are going to give yourself heart failure. So, eyes off the scale and onto feeling good. Let your body decide what weight is going to honor your physical structure. That doesn't mean or and isn't supposed to be an excuse for when you are 75 pounds overweight. Obviously, you know you've got more weight than is comfortable for your body, but you might be 5, 10 pounds one way or the other on the healthy weight scale, and that's okay. Don't get fixated on the number. Get excited about feeling good. Evan, you are so right. It would be lovely. But that's what I find the angels will help us do as well. Evan says, it sure would be cool if a sign popped up out of nowhere saying, trigger warning, while we're strolling about our path. The more time you spend clearing the heart, the more time you spend in the presence of the angelic energetic realm, the easier it is going to be for you to be prepared for those triggers. Even if they don't give you a sign that pops up trigger warning, you will find yourself moving through it and then realize, oh, in the past, that really would have bothered me. Or you may even find yourself reacting, but the reaction that you have will be much less and you'll be able to move through it more quickly. So, clearing away the inside by being honest with yourself. You cannot lie to yourself coming from a traumatic background and believe that that's going to fly. You have now become one of your abusers. So you must honor yourself. You've got to support you and your healthy self. If you are doing the work to clear this out, however, that space doesn't stay empty. That space that used to be dark and scary and filled with fear is now being filled with love, joy, and peace. So something fearful is happening over here, but you're all filled with love, joy, and peace. You're going to be able to move through that. Oh, you can't see. You're going to be able to move through, even though this thing is happening, you're going to still be able to keep your course. You'll recognize it. Oh, look at that happening over there. But you won't need to run over and get involved and get scared and tear yourself down. You'll still be able to say, oh, I can put a pink and gold blanket on it. I can give it to God. I have all these tools that I can use to deal with this fearful thing. And if I'm guided by my divine support team, I might go over and offer assistance. But unless I'm guided, I'll just keep going here, knowing that whoever is right for this situation to add help will come if it's necessary. Okay, good question. After trauma and a broken heart syndrome and on insulin, that makes it really tough. I'm also intermittent fasting. 50 pounds. Wow, good for you. Have you lost 50 pounds? It's C. Lee. Have you lost 50 pounds or is that your weight loss journey? And intermittent fasting can be really helpful as long as you are really rewarding yourself with good quality food during the time that you're eating. So here is one of the problems that you could come up with intermittent fasting. First of all, you are punishing yourself if you are saying, gosh, I am really needing to lose this weight. Okay, so Celie says she needs to lose, or he needs to lose 50 pounds. Okay, so I need to lose 50 pounds. Great. Way to go with acknowledging it. And now you're on insulin. The weight loss may allow you, I'm not a medical doctor, don't take my word for this. It's just a possibility that the weight loss will allow your body to restabilize and you may need less insulin or none at all. But again, you have to check with your medical doctor. And so the way you want to enter into the intermittent fasting is, I realize that I may be eating more often than is necessary to support myself physically. So I'm going to give myself a big break. Notice how I am sharing this. I am not punishing myself. It's not, you're not allowed to eat. It is, I'm going to give my body a big break where I have an opportunity not to eat, where my body just gets to rest and process. And then during the time when I am allowed to eat, I have all these wonderfully, beautifully healthy foods that I can support my body with so that the resting period is really effective and the eating period is really effective. Now, see, Lee, you want to make sure that you are celebrating those goals. So, if you're on day 1 of intermittent fasting and you get through an hour of the fasting part, oh, hooray for me. I'm so proud of myself. Look at this. And then reward yourself with meditation, a walk, a drink of water. I love water, so water is a reward for me. Um, Watch a funny show or some sort of reward that is not food based that will make you feel good so that before you know it, your fasting period is over and you can really concentrate on eating, not stuffing, but eating foods that feel good. And that's another reason for you to celebrate. The other thing that I want to remind you of is to get prepared in advance. If you wake up and say, okay, I want to be on a diet, and your cupboards are filled with unhealthy foods, you're really being unkind and downright cruel to yourselves. So take that food, give it away, and fill up with food that you know is going to support healthy weight loss. And that does not mean um, all diet products and diet drinks. Go with healthy. Go to your local farmer's market and grab all those vegetables. Go with water instead of any kind of flavored thing. You're going to discover the more that you honor yourself with healthy foods, the more that you eat in its natural form as opposed to from a box, that you are really going to enjoy the taste of these foods just as they are. And that's going to make it easier because the additives often give you confusing signals to the brain on purpose. So you want to get away from the additives, the pre-boxed kinds of things, and into the, you know where it came from, you can see it right there, and um, you can combine it with other things to make it something wonderful. So all praise to you. See, congratulations. And then, oh, I did want to address also. Oh, and it's Cindy. Okay, Cindy. Yay. Now, there's another confusing point that people sometimes, it throws them off. So let me address that before we have to go. And that is, there is only one being, which is the divine. And then from that being, there are all sorts of little sub energetic pieces. We are some of those pieces. So are the angels, the saints, the archangels, the ascended masters. So people will say to me, "Oh, you pray to the angels? You are going to make God angry." I'm not praying to the angels. I am acknowledging that there is a divine support system that is available for me to call on. I'm also acknowledging that the angels have been divided into rays where they are in charge of or overseeing certain aspects of our physical being, our physical wellness, and our physical world, because the divine in its totality is so vast, it can be difficult for us to engage effectively with it. So there is never a time that when you are in prayer, that you are not engaging with the divine. However, when we call on a specific angel to help us, we are asking for a more concentrated energetic stream that we might be able to access with greater ease. So I can say, "Oh God, please help me with my weight loss." Or I can say, "Oh, Archangel Raphael, can you please support me in really having healthy thoughts about my food choices or this decision or whatever it is, or inspire me to help do my workout." You are not insulting God by calling on one of these subtext beings, because everything is in the same energetic stream. It's just the divine know all and recognized that we, in these little containers where we can only hold so much energy, might become overwhelmed by trying to deal with the entire divine beingness. And so they created aspects of themselves that could just channel a particular energy and would provide us with an easier way to communicate. So, Cindy, I'm so delighted you talk with the archangels all day long. I do too. And they are so much fun. And so much fun, and have made my life so much easier. I cannot tell you. I'll give you another example of ways in which, and none of these, I'm sorry, have anything to do with food, but ways in which they make my life doable. I have a Facebook group, and you're all invited to join. It's called Healing Hearts, and it is a public group on purpose because I want more people to be inspired. And yet, at the same time, we know Facebook, and I don't know where else, but for sure on Facebook, is having a horrible time with people who are creating reels. And it used to be this hot, sexy girls was the hashtag, and now it's some sort of broken telegram link or something. I don't know. I'm not even sure what the purpose of these things is, other than to frustrate everyone that is trying to see something other than this ridiculous material. So I would go in my group at least once a day and I would delete all of these posts. And I would come back the next day and I would have to do the same thing all over again. And in the beginning, it was one or two. So, it took me a minute. I always go in my group to respond to comments and to be encouraging. So I was like, okay, no big deal. But kind of around Christmas, it became unmanageable. I actually looked at the clock before and after because I wanted to see how long I was having to spend clearing out these ridiculous posts that bots put in there faster than I could take them out. And I noticed it was like 45 minutes to an hour. Now, before this, I had not even considered asking for angelic support. Just like, okay, this is frustrating, but delete, delete, delete. Finally, when it took me that long, I said, okay, angels, what should I do? Should I just shut this down? Should I make it private? That feels really cruddy because it's going to limit the amount of people that get supported. But I can't spend an hour every day clearing out these stupid posts. And how annoying is it for all of the people in the group to have to wade through this to get to the reasonable stuff? Within a few seconds, I got the answer. I simply turned on post approval so that the bots can't get in there without me first approving it. So the first day I had about 10. Took me a few seconds to decline all of them. And I had my usual people who want to share inspirational stuff, and I approved all of them and put them on the pre-approved list. Well, it's been about a week now since, maybe it's been 2 weeks since I finally reached out for help and listened to their answer. And we're back to maybe one or two of these posts. And that takes about a minute out of my day as opposed to an hour. There is nothing the angelic energetic realm is not wanting to help you with. Their whole desire is to make your life great. But you have to allow it. You have free will. Otherwise, you would just be a puppet on a string that God was moving around the world. You have free will. You have to choose to interact with the help that's available. But if you do choose it, you will be so delighted. It's absolutely fabulous to receive their unlimited help and guidance. So, gotta go, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Cindy, thanks for all of your participating pastel waves. And Evan, thank you as well. I love when you guys comment because you are seeing something that I either haven't seen or have forgotten. And so you are helping to make this fabulous. So again, lots of love, deep gratitude to all of you. Oh, and next week we're on Pinterest at 5. I will put a thing in YouTube. I'll put an announcement in YouTube, but Pinterest has invited us back again, and we're looking at surrendering to love. Not only did they invite us back, but they also picked the topic. So we're going to be on Pinterest with Surrender to Love, and then we'll be back on YouTube. And we want to look at, for the remainder of January, what you can do to attract more money without that whole resolution negativity, and relationships. We'll start looking further into relationships when we get into February. But remember, guys, next week we're on Pinterest. I'm going to say 5 o'clock. I forget. Oh, I don't even know where I can find it. Wait a minute. Maybe I can find it on my not being very tech savvy, guys. It's always a surprise why nothing is on my calendar. So look for YouTube or get on my mailing list and you will get a reminder an hour before so you won't miss out. So I will see you on Pinterest next week. I'll see you back on YouTube the week after. And again, lots of love and thank you all for being here.